Well, welcome everybody to the Conscious Living Show. We're an online channel and we are showcasing and interviewing people, authors who are awakening spiritually, who are sharing their knowledge and their wisdom about health, about the environment, and in particular about expanding consciousness. And today we've got a really special guest in Tony Norgrove. And Tony's a clairvoyant, he's a medium and a channel, and he has this particular ability to connect on an interdimensional level. And I'm really excited because we've just had some wonderful experiences of how Tony works to clear entities and things that are affecting our health and well-being. So welcome, Tony.
Thank you so much, Patricia.
So I'm really curious to know how you began on your journey. If you can just perhaps share a little bit about your story. I know that you were born in New Zealand.
Yes, as a young child, I think I knew there was something going on with me, and that benefited later on other people, where I was able to see, unlike my brother sharing the same bedroom, for instance, like my ancestors in the room. So both my deceased grandparents would often turn up in the middle of the night, and I'd have little mental conversations with especially my grandfather. And so I found that I was clairvoyantly able to connect interdimensionally with all sorts of different beings. But it started out quite...
And when this happened to you, did you feel upset or concerned about this?
No, I was probably confused, like a lot of young children that display any of the 6 typical gifts of clairvoyance, clairaudience, etc., because other people around me were not having the same experience. So you tend to think you're the odd one. So things sat along that line, and there would be experiences here and there, but nothing profound. However, that was around the age of 5, and so by my late teens, I was getting nocturnal, always beautiful, radiant beings. You know, they never frightened me at all. Like a lot of other people, my clients talk of similar things. So I could see them, I could hear sometimes things they were trying to pass on to me, but I started to shift as an interfacer with different types of multidimensional beings. Of course, a lot of people do have contact with their loved ones when they pass on to their rewards and go through the veil, so to speak. I then started also seeing, having accepted that, not blocking my belief, spirit guides. So I found them to be predominantly then human beings wearing antiquated clothing. They would appear on horses in the room at night, wearing gowns and so forth, and a lot of people have those experiences. But these seem to be like different levels of contact and different types of information, therefore, coming through to me. That took me to a spiritualist church at the age of 19, because I was quite sure I might be mad or whatever, and but no, that's where I felt further affirmment, where I would find myself once a week in a room with similar people to myself. So I found I had an open heart and an open mind to these things. They were right there with me, they were never bad. And so I benefited from about 5 years of training and meditation mostly, learning to empower myself and meet my own guides whenever I want by very, very simple, still used worldwide meditation techniques called a guided meditation, where you go off and meet somebody. That has moved over the years, really since I moved to Australia 30 years ago, to picking up on not only people's pets and ancestors in the room, which traditional mediums do, and their spirit guides, as I say, wearing antiquated clothing and an even deeper understanding of my client, to beings that certainly do not look human. But fortunately, with the strong foundation, and I credit some of that to the 5 years of training, in a proper structured spiritualist church type forum, they showed me how to work out what's delusional and not fact, and what is real, be it unusually real. So these sentient beings would be around me and around my clients, and they would include the likes of the Pleiadians. Some were dressed and said that they were Syrians, but I've been working mostly with the Arcturians, who claim to be the emotional healers of mankind's awakening or ascension. There was, sorry?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what your impression is of how they are interfacing with us now at this time, because I think you've talked about there being a real change that's happened since about 2012.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like, perhaps some people were quite careful of buying into this end of the Mayan calendar type thing, but with my clairvoyance and now a screen test, I was able to warrant that things were changing, and there were certain different things going on in people's chakra systems and auras that I'd at least not been privy to before. I found it, one of the things I found in 2002, really, when I started making what I do a daily practice as opposed to an interest in the weekends, was that I started seeing like shadows within people's auric fields. I never wanted to have these sort of experiences. They seemed a little bit like not good, but then I would have interdimensional beings like spirit guides and sometimes Arcturians come in and quantify that what is going on as though there is, I believe now, a deliberate attempt to slow down mankind's ascension. And I believe the turning point of, as though a portal, a corridor has opened of humanity's necessary awakening, because our old paradigms were, as we all are starting to acknowledge now, totally unsustainable. The way we were mistreating the planet as though there's no tomorrow, the way that native indigenous cultures, languages and people, of course, worldwide have been denigrated and more or less put on the back burner and, forever. Those things, have to change. Some explanation to that was, as a medium and clairvoyant, seeing that there were an escalation of these blobs, for want of a word, which other cultures worldwide have proper words for, going back 50,000 years. The commonly used term for attachments to our field is doppies throughout Australia. But of course different language groups have their own words, and that's something I find fascinating in my worldwide travel, is that all indigenous cultures have always warned that mankind's even physical problems, never alone the emotional problems we're all enduring now with so much stress, comes from our blueprint, from our aura. So what happens to our aura, be it for most people invisible, impacts on our emotional and mental well-being immediately and undermines us. And a lot of people are not really having a life now. They're in damage control.
So just to track back on, how would you define the aura? How would you describe that for perhaps people who...
Similarly for me, and I do benefit from, 2 decades ago I bought an aura camera to show other people something of what I'm seeing, the good and the bad.
There are cameras that can photograph and show up what the aura looks like. Yeah,
so the aura basically, and the planet has an electromagnetic field or an aura around itself, and scientists seem to easily accept that. The human condition is such, our aura being a coloured light around us of various colours, usually people have 2 or 3 colours, actually comes from the strongest of our 7 major chakras running up our hara line or vertebrae column. And we all have some large and some small chakras. It's partly why we reincarnate. In order to be a balanced soul, we must have all these chakras, and as an ex-tradesman, I jokingly refer to them as paint tins. So we all benefit from having very big, strong paint tins. For instance, if my heart chakra was small, I would have issues either with my heart organ and or the only way that would be stifled would be through, be it too much grief unaddressed, or maybe lack of self-love. So no one's ascending or going forward if any of the chakras, I believe, are impoverished, and therefore limiting us in the way that we think.
But you also talk about there being physical effects that people are experiencing from overthinking and stress
Yes.
and depression. That actually relates back to the auric field, doesn't it?
Yeah. As I started seeing these shadows in people's auric field, something I've never been trained about, and I don't believe a lot of people know about it, which is fine. But the indigenous people know nothing but that. That's where we have words like, Malu and Doppies and so forth all around the world, which are preying on our energetic field. So I believe as part of the transition from the old paradigms of the patriarchal world, which ended, I believe, more or less in tune, and I think that's what the warning of the Mayan calendar was, is that yes, it's great now, there's a portal of consciousness open to us, but we have to all do our stuff and release ourselves, as it were, from the shackles of our history. And we are sentient beings. Je mérite mieux is French for we deserve better. But most of us are shackled, if not all of us, through our electromagnetic field or our chakra systems by things holding us back, interfering with our thinking. What I noticed there, and what brought me on board somewhat with there is a shift in consciousness, is that the amount of attachments to people's fields are numerous and have increased and roughly probably tripled since the end of 2012. Thereafter, immediately, my business got very busy because a lot more people, were running out of either excuses or self-medicative means, which I don't judge, been there, done that, but none of that's a solution to overcoming the terrible distress in people now.
What sort of situations are your clients bringing to you?
Well, the people are very stressed out generally with stress, and they feel unable hereafter to manage their stress, particularly people that don't really want to go down, which has some value, the traditional medical route of, be it antidepressants and Valium and similar things, fine. Whereas the rest of the world are arguably over-medicating themselves in their own ways now, and that just suggests like a red flag there's something wrong. People are feeling an inability to stay okay, to let things go, and it's almost like a layering where now I have this issue and now another and another. And I don't believe it's all the blame of the outside world, be it with a recession and other things that are undoubtedly obvious to all of us. It's our inability to find the love, to find the time, the joy in the day, to just admire your child or your pet, and to just go into that space. Most people, I'm finding, since after 212, cannot meditate or sit still at all. It's as though we're all living inside. Our aura should be an ashram. It should be a portal of love and light, but it's becoming a jail of stress. And so as a medium, I'm just dealing and helping people to overcome most of their stress and giving them their life back by simply clearing their auric field. Just like Saint Germain did, which many people have heard about 400 years ago in the 17th century. The symptoms that most people are carrying are extreme overthinking. It's out of control, like a careering truck down a road, and that's coming from a lot of the thinking of things in their auric field.
So these things in the auric field you were sharing with me earlier on, they are actual entities?
Yes, they have a consciousness. They're like, nasty people in the street. So for a lot of people, they are finding their overthinking, as Eckhart Tolle has measured, is just so out of, it's controlling them. It's been measured at tens of thousands of short, very quick negative thoughts per day. I don't have that now. I benefit from feeling a sense of peace. We all have bad days, but I don't overreact like I used to and attach myself to something and not be able to flick it off and let it go. So things don't feel that I'm not controlled by my aura anymore. I feel it is more of an ashram than a jail. Because I've done these as I've been trained You
So
know?
it's like the auric field is like your environment, if you think of in physical terms. You've
Yeah.
got
And if-
a clean house, you've got a harmonious garden that's nurturing you. So in the same way, you've got an electromagnetic field. And if it's not clean and it's not clear, then it's affecting your thoughts, it's your emotions.
That's right, or your well-being.
And leading to, spontaneous, perhaps anger outbursts or road rage or, things that happen unexpectedly, would you say?
Yeah.
That are actually being precipitated by these attachments that are actually living within your own auric field.
Yes.
So it's like there's creatures that have come into your garden that are feeding on your beautiful plums and and enjoying the fruits of your labour, and you're not able to really
Benefit from
clear them.
Yeah.
Out of your space.
Yes.
We talked about that before, didn't we?
Yeah.
That actually our field and our existence even as a physical being is mostly space. So you're saying that these entities are actually living in the space, which is our environment, which is our
Which
field,
affects our psychology.
which affects everything.
Much more than what most people
Yeah,
give given
yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
We know that, through my travelling alone worldwide, engaging with native cultures, which I love and enjoy, having lived at Uluru also amongst the Ananu there for quite some time, that they would use simple clearing techniques. The first thing traditional people used to do, I believe, in Africa, people I met, when they get up in the morning, it's not run off like we do these days for a coffee. No, they take a stick out of the fire, still smouldering, and walk around each other.
Yes.
So for me, it's like, I'm very close to shamanism. Everything is a circle. We've all, in the Western world, become rather material, and we've cloaked ourselves in all these wonderful things, which I do enjoy, a nice car rather than one that breaks down. But there's still something missing. And everyone's claiming, my clients, and say, it's like there's a jigsaw puzzle missing, there's a piece missing. I've got everything opens and shuts, and I'm still not happy.
It's like we're not really exploring our inner space, where we've done a lot with our outer space. And especially in the health and wellness industry, there's a lot of attention placed on your physical well-being, your harmony at home, etc. But what you're, I think, pointing to is that really we've got to go deeper. We've really got to start sensing and tuning into what's actually going on within our inner space. And there is it looks to me like you've been given information that's come through from your guides, and you've got some techniques that are very simple, that you said that even a child can do this.
Yes.
And that can clear your field, can clear your animals, and can actually remove all this interference.
All the heavy energy, which creates stress in the human being and in animals.
Yeah, and it's a lot simpler than we would be led to believe. We don't have to go through years of therapy or go and see practitioners.
No.
We can actually do this for ourselves.
It starts with self-belief, so that's fine, but a lot of people would tune out, and it's either too hard or, not of a likelihood to them, and that's fine, because we're all, as we appreciate, evolving at a different rate. We're all at different frequencies or vibrations, so some people get it and some don't. Some people can, for instance, do their own tax return, and some cannot. But that's not a criticism, we're all different. But those that have been, on this earth walk for hundreds and hundreds of periods and engaging undoubtedly in lots of varied cultures of significance for a connection, because that's why people choose to be religious. And this Aquarian age seems to allow us to, without the need for any constraints, for even the Dalai Lama, I believe, suggests that there's no need for complicated ideas nor temples. Love is the answer. We all need a connection. That's something I'm finding with my clients, and people striving for, we call it a spiritual connection, a meaningful connection. it can't happen while we're labouring and being held back. With Eckhart Tolle suggests tens of thousands of negative thoughts a day. I don't have them now.
And also we did talk about suicide, didn't we? We
Yes.
talked about how those negative thoughts
Yeah.
actually then
Where do they
start-
come from? I believe I know, because
Yeah.
the people that are cleared, and I showed them how to check themselves with a very simple, for the world's first screen test method. No one in the world, I believe, at least the places I've been and the people I talk to, I might be wrong, have a way to check, is the issue coming from within myself or within my home, I mean stress and unrealistic anxieties, or from some other factor. So we're able to explore that, and very quickly, being humans, we have similar things going on. We produce prana, and that's what the attachments foremost feed off. People that are cleared, and it can be done long distance, so anyone can help people overseas. Time is no, distance is no restraint. They lose their sore neck from the weight of the aura. Most of their overthinking just subsides into a state of peace, so they can meditate now and use that if they want to meet their own inner plane teachers, which is really a big part, I believe, of the Aquarian age, is being able to make a connection with divine beings that have our interest obviously at heart, and can take us further away from this 3D matrix.
Yes.
People also lose their palpitations of their hearts, which are becoming endemic now, and they are daily turned away from hospitals because the hospitals can't find a 3D explanation. That's part of the etheric problem. All this I've mapped in the human body, and it's the right time to share that. It's our time to shine.
Yes.
It's our time, I believe, as sovereign beings, which we're always meant to be, to experience life as spiritual beings, as a human being, not the other way round, as human beings having a spiritual experience, which could be once a week or so. So it's about balance, it's about connections.
Yeah. And also you were talking about the fragmentation of the soul.
Yes.
And how that is attributed to other lifetimes, trauma that's occurred,
Yes.
and that so many people are not actually functioning with their full
This is
joy and capacity because at the soul level there's a fragmentation.
a loss of power. People feel powerless for the second reason, but the first one's a very easy, quick thing that can be addressed in 10 or 15 minutes and lasts a lifetime. With the screen test, people can check themselves and know that everything's okay. But you're right, the other thing that, my
your work is involved
my
with this.
spiritual mentors involves fragmentation, which is also known worldwide by all indigenous cultures.
I know.
This is the other furball in our white society, is that we grow up very predisposed to academia, and it all has its place. I mean, if you need a surgeon, you need a surgeon.
Yes.
I can't help. But there's a lot that the common layperson like me can do for themselves and other people, and markedly change their emotional well-being, because I've worked out that's all we are.
Yeah.
We're really, at the end of the day, I think, emotional beings, and we're under distress, disharmony. We have a solution that's called New Paradigm Balancing.
That's amazing, and it's so interesting that we're returning back to what Indigenous people have always known, isn't it? And
Yes.
and we've overlooked all of that because of our pursuit of science and technologies
And comfort.
and comfort and the material world. And now we're really at a crisis point. The planet is at a crisis point.
It's true.
Individuals are.
It's unsustainable.
There's an epidemic of depression and mental illness. So it's time, isn't it, for us to
Address the space around us and within us.
Yes, yeah, and you're going to be teaching this at the upcoming Conscious Living
Absolutely.
Expo,
Yeah.
and you're going to be doing demonstrations, and you're also going to be leading guided meditations and running a workshop. And I'm really excited because it feels like this is something that's new, that is the way that you've put it together. It's going to be very practical and very of great service and help to people who are being challenged and who isn't being challenged.
Yes.
In some aspect of their life, whether it be financially or relationships or health. and that there's a simple solution. It's not going to cost the earth.
That's right. Best things in life are free.
Exactly.
And we believe we have a permanent solution which can be screen test, unlike any other healing modality, and I've done others as well. Always looking for the Holy Grail.
Yes.
And I believe what we've found by simply having a clear field is the beginning of that, and then we can look at a person's overfractured self, if that is their situation. A lot of people have so many wounds now that they're unable to, you know, process their suffering and release it. It's just got on top of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Now, just giving a little bit of background, you're based in Denmark,
Yeah.
in the southwest of Western Australia.
yeah, about 4 hours south
Yeah,
of Perth.
but you work with people, don't you, remotely? So you can,
Yes, by FaceTime, Skype.
Yeah.
Again, just like other modalities out there, distance isn't a problem.
and your website is the
sacredtree.com.au as opposed to the scared tree, where some people make that mistake. Just a joke. That's right. And our store's been there for 13 years. We've lived there for nearly 20. We're open 7 days a week. If we can help anybody, especially people feeling an unrest, a disturbance in their thinking, emotional well-being, we would start with alleviating the stress, obviously, out of their human energetic system, which everyone has. Everyone has a good aura, but there are often, just like with animals, fleas and ticks. Enough ticks on a dog, I've learnt, they can paralyse the dog. And this, I believe, is part of the cosmic disclosure I'd like to bring to people, that I believe since 212, there is, because we are waking up, there's a boost from the good, that we're starting to become unable, as it were, to fight back.
And what do you see as your mission and your vision for this, for your lifetime, for what you've come here on the planet to help with?
Yeah, well, I guess through my clairvoyance and stumbling across, like all of us, I believe it's all meant to be, through and benefiting by the mentorship of my several spirit guides from different situations, we're able to help mankind suffering as emotional beings to alleviate at least that. And so if we can do that and empower people by showing them how to do the same, be it for their struggling grandchildren, children, whatever, we can influence, obviously positively, world leaders, especially those who we all know are acting out a little bit. They need their fields clear as well. There are permanent shields that have also benefited mankind through my guides, where rather than purging things out like people in the desert, you know, smudging one another daily, there is a permanent solution here. So we can get on with the deeper ideas, the other things that we need to look at. Our being held back by, for instance, past life dynamics, and they too need releasing. And that's all addressed in the second idea of soul retrieval work.
Well, it's really wonderful, Tony, that you're so dedicated to sharing this knowledge and the tools to empower the people to serve, to help themselves.
I see that as part of the new awakening consciousness, where it's not about me, it's about us. It's no longer about, for me, the old paradigms of separation consciousness, where man eats dog, and now unity of consciousness.
Yes.
It's about, I am my brother's keeper. We're all God's children. We need to look after each other.
Yes.
So it's a good thing. It's time.
It's
time to shine.
It's time to shine. Thank you so much. And for more information, you can visit consciouslivingmagazine.com.au or consciouslivingexpo.com.au and read more about Tony's program that he's going to be giving and sharing with us. And you're writing a book, I believe. You're in the process of doing that.
Yes, it's getting closer to completion. I was told by my guide half a year ago there were 2 more vital parts to the book that I had no idea about, but I'd come across them through people, and one of them, frankly, was rigorous mental health issues that some people are developing now, and a means to help them with that as well. So that's something else.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
We're getting there, but we will publish next year, no doubt.
Yeah, and we'll have links on our website to the Sacred Tree, and you can contact Tony as well through those links.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
Thank you, Patricia.
Yeah.